Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Dewi and this is my brother.
Hi!
And today is a follow-up on a previous video that we did on our top 5 favourite games. This is now part 2. So what have you picked today?
I have picked Bendy and the Dark Revival.
Okay then, so...
Obviously how this is going to work, just
Yeah.
to re-explain the structure is, I'll explain my game and then you'll explain your game and that will kind of be the structure of the video.
Yes.
You'll ask me questions about my game and I'll ask you questions about yours.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've picked Bendy and the Dark Revival, so do you want to start then?
Yes, so when did it come out then, Bendy and the Dark Revival?
It was, I think, 2023?
Okay.
23 or... No, I think it was 23.
Okay, so last year then.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
And what kind of game is it?
So it's like a horror survival game, and you have to complete all these different puzzles and, you know, like fight all these different kind of like ink monsters in the area that you are in at the time.
Okay. And any type of weapons or gadgets to help you out if you are surviving against all these characters?
You have the... Well, in Dark Revival specifically, you have the gent pipe as, like, I'm pretty sure the most common weapon. Okay. And you can, like, upgrade it throughout the game to, like, open doors and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So those are, like, the weapons that you have for that game. But in the previous game, Bendy and the Ink Machine, you had the gent pipe and, more specifically, the axe.
Interesting, okay. And it's like crafting in the game as well?
Yeah, bits of it, but
because obviously you can craft all this stuff, can't you? So I'm just wondering, you know, with the crafting of weapons and gadgets and stuff like that, is there anything like, you know, to craft your, like, I know, say, stuff that heals you, like bandages or something like that? I assume there's damage.
Yeah. No, there's nothing that you can upgrade to, like, heal you. It's just upgrading your weapons, and even then, I'm pretty sure it's just to, like, get through more puzzles.
Right, okay.
So instead of, like, upgrading it to, like, do more damage and stuff, it's more so upgrading it so that it works for several purposes.
Okay, and what is, like, the narrative, then, of this game?
So this game is a sequel to Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Yeah.
And it follows the character of Audrey, who is working at a kind of renovated, rebooted version of the Bendy studio from the first game that is now under the, like... is now being run by Nathan Arch, who's a friend of, like, the, I guess you could say, like, background villain of the first game, Joey Drew, who's died.
Okay.
And it follows her, like, going through the studio after she's brought into, like, the cartoon version with, like, the ink machine from the previous game by the janitor called Wilson. And,
interesting.
I mean, obviously, actually, you've played this before as well, because
Yeah, it has been a while.
You played it on my behalf.
Yeah.
So, and there's, like, a lot of very interesting story, actually, with near the end of the game, Wilson being revealed to be the son of Nathan Arch, and the whole reason he did all this was to basically make up for his own incompetence and his own feeling of living in his father's shadow.
Okay.
And to make him feel like he's, you know, someone more important and all that kind of stuff. And then you also have returning characters from the previous game. You have Allison, Tom, you have Alice Angel as well, a cameo from Sammy Lawrence, who's, like, killed 3 seconds after.
Okay. And
then you have the Ink Demon, and he was actually really, really good.
And is he, like, the main, you know, antagonist of this game, or was it just Wilson?
Yeah, I guess you could say they're both, like, the villains. Like, Wilson is, like, I guess you could... it's hard to really say, actually. The Ink Demon is the one that is trying to kill you, but Wilson is the one that you have the final boss with, so I guess it all depends on how you look at it. But the Ink Demon was really good in this game with his design and especially his voice.
Okay, and are there like difficulty options to this game? Like if you're a new person getting into it, and, you're just starting off, do you want to like have an an easier option, medium, hard, or is
Oh,
it just like all generally just difficult?
there probably is. Most games obviously have like a easy, medium, and
Okay.
hard thing, but I can't remember.
And this is a sequel, right, from the last game.
Yeah.
So how many games previously are there? And also, would you have had to play those games to play this one specifically?
Ooh,
Do you see what I mean? Like, you're going to need to know the lore of the game to sort of play this. Because some games, they could be like 3, 4, 5 games after, the first one. And do you have to go back and play the previous games to sort of play this one?
Ideally, yes. I feel like this game does a lot of its own explanations, and basically the game does do a lot of recapping for you on the previous game as far as like the main lore points go, with the studio being in its own like kind of, I guess, little ink world and the experiments and stuff. But I'd say you'd probably have to play the first game to fully understand this one, especially with especially with characters like Henry, who appear in this game, and he was the main character of the first one.
Okay.
So I'd say that you'd probably have to play the first one. And as for the first one, well, there's only been one Bendy game before Dark Revival. That's why it's the second. However, there has been like spin-off games for like mobile and stuff.
Okay.
But those don't really count as full-fledged Bendy games in my
Like,
opinion.
also help maybe explain some points in the story, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. And the game, when you finished it, did it leave it off to like have another sequel after that?
Yes, it did.
And is there like a replayability to the game? Once you finished it, the survival horror game. Is there like could you go back and do something different, or is there a reason to? Or is it like when you finish the game, that's it, you're done?
Okay, so there's none of the thing of taking a different path to make a different outcome. No, there's not any of that. And there are some side missions in the game, but not many. So you could probably, I think there's only about like maybe 3 or 4 side missions in the whole game.
Okay.
So technically you could do all them and then complete the game. So there is a bit of replayability to it if you just want to complete the whole story. But if you're someone like, well, you, who likes to do all the side missions as they go along, then there's not much replayability aside from like the seasonal updates. Like now they're doing Christmas stuff in there, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. But as for leaving it open for a third game, absolutely, because throughout the game you get teased about the company Gent. In the first game they helped make the ink machine and helped Joey Drew do all of his experiments. And in the second game you learn a bit more about them. And it kind of pictures it as if though Joey, while Joey Drew is still like a bad person because he basically sacrificed a lot of his employees and turned them into ink monsters to try and, make Bendy land and save the studio.
Yeah.
So while the game doesn't exactly paint anything Joey does as good, not by any means, it doesn't make him seem like the money-hungry person that he was in the previous games. It makes him look a bit more humane, and it makes you a bit more like realise Joey did what he was doing because he felt like he had to. He didn't do it so much for the money or any of that. He did it because he felt like, the studio was his whole life, and so he tried to save it by doing all of this stuff because, he enjoyed making the cartoons and stuff. But it still adds a bit of humanity to what Joey does, and it paints Gent more as the kind of background villain. So Joey's still the evil one, but he had a bit more of a human motivation trying to save himself and save the studio that he'd done so much to do and to make. And then Gent being the ones who made the machine and they try to continue with the experiments.
Okay.
So while Joey was only doing it to save his company, Gent was doing it because they actually enjoyed it and they wanted to do some more stuff.
Okay.
And it ended with them getting the ink machine.
That's
so that's
pretty
set
cool.
up for a third game.
Okay.
I know I probably rambled a bit there.
No, it's just that was a lot. That was a lot to take in. So, but if anyone here is a big fan of Bendy and the Dark Revival, then they'll get a lot of that. So, but no, that's a lot of detail I was not expecting, to be honest. Do you know what? I don't actually know any questions now. Is there anything you want to add on top of that, though? Like, in terms of how good the game is to you?
The game is...
In, top... from 1 to 10.
I'd say it's like a 10. The art style and the, obviously, graphics is far better than the previous game. It expands the lore with, Wilson and his minions being the keepers. So... Overall, I really like the story of Dark Revival, and the best part I think was probably the Ink Demon for the design and the voice
you said,
and the final level where you actually get to play as Beast Bendy when he is infused with Audrey and stuff.
Yeah.
So and you get Baby Bendy, who Mum really liked.
Oh yeah, I thought she liked Boris though.
Yeah, but she really liked Baby Bendy as well, and the reveal that he was the Ink Demon was kind of expected, but still shocking nonetheless.
Interesting. Okay then. So it would be like a 10 for you then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're picking...
I am picking Witcher 3.
Yeah, okay. So let's move on to that then, shall we? So who's the main character of...
Geralt of Rivia, he's the person you play as.
Okay, and well... Since it's called Witcher, is it about witches or something?
Okay, so your Witcher is the name of who he is, the class, who he is as a person. He is a Witcher.
Okay, and what does that what is actually a Witcher? Like a hunter or something?
A hunter, yeah, he's like a bounty hunter. He's a mercenary who basically, people want monsters being slain. They basically, call a Witcher and they pay him, and he deals with ghosts, ghouls, monsters, sometimes even humans, like mercenaries or bandits who've wronged other people, because he wields 2 swords: a silver sword for monsters and a steel sword for fighting humans. That's why whenever you look at a Witcher, they got 2 swords on their back.
Ah, okay then. And what's the story of Witcher 3 then?
Story of Witcher 3 is quite big, so I'll try and put this to its bare bones, but you're on a sort of mission to find Ciri, who is Geralt's... Ciri? Yeah.
Like the phone?
No, not the phone. Who is Geralt's daughter. She's, out there in the world. You need to go find her, and you come across all these different amazing locations, and you meet all these interesting people along the way. There's a lot of side missions and stuff like that, and any choices that you make while playing the game to try and find Ciri and protect her from the Wild Hunt, these consequences of your actions can affect you later on down the line from decisions you've made before, or killing or saving people as you play through the game.
Okay.
But narratively, you're trying to find Ciri and save her. That is the goal of the game.
And who's your favourite character in Geralt, and why is that?
Oh, he's just amazing. He's just got this wit to him, and it's just he's cool looking anyways, but his combat, his abilities and spells that you have, but his personality as well, I like about him as well.
And okay, so this is a threequel. This is the third game. So what has been do you have to play the other games to know?
I'll be honest, I didn't play the other games. When Witcher 3 came out, I think it was 2014, we're looking about that year somewhere, and I remember I got it, I had a package deal with the PlayStation 4, because that came out around that time, and I thought, you know what, I'll give this a go. And as I was playing through the game, the graphics were the graphics of the game are still phenomenal now, to be honest, but amazingly back then. And so when I was playing it and I got more in depth of the game and playing through it and realized how much I loved the game, and then I finished it off, I did look back on the first 2 games later on, and realize the lore where he came from. I don't think you really need to play the first two games. You know, I'm not going to say not to, because the first two games are good. It's just, and it would help you understand the third game better. But, you know, I went into this game, not played the first two, but as I play through the game, they try and, you know, go back on, I say not flashbacks, but they reference previous games, and you sort of fill in some gaps, and they try and explain it too well. They try not to bring too much over, so it affects the third game too much on your playthrough.
Okay, so that being said, have you actually played the previous two games then? No.
No, but I've looked at a lot of videos. I understand like cutscenes and laws and stuff like that they've gone on before now, and decisions you could have made in those previous games as well.
And have there been any other games after Witcher 3?
No, but however, CD Projekt Red, who are the people who've made it, they have teased that there's going to be like another, I guess, a game, maybe a saga, but it's not going to be following Geralt of Rivia anymore. I think for his storyline, they said that was done, but if they do make another one, it'll be based on like another Witcher.
What, did he die at the end then?
No. Well, guess that depends on the ending you get. There's like 3 or 4 different endings that you get to The Witcher 3, so guess that depends on the ending you get.
Okay then. And obviously they made a Witcher TV show, didn't they?
Yes.
And did you enjoy the TV show? Because I know you've watched it. Would you say it's a faithful adaptation?
I would say Henry Cavill is a faithful adaptation of Geralt. I watched season 1 and 2, but by season 2 that came out, Henry Cavill announced that he wasn't going to be doing it anymore. He said after season 3 he was going to be done with it, so I was sort of done with it then, because first season I liked, I enjoyed. Second season they deviated away from the books and like how everything's supposed to be done, and I wasn't thrilled with the season 2 as I was sort of season 1. I think season 1 they used as a pilot series to sort of get things going, but I mean that's the TV show, that's not the game anyway.
Yeah. So wait, they made Witcher books then? So
yeah, that's what the game is based off, is books.
Oh yeah, because I remember.
Yeah, because I was going for the books, wasn't I?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Anyway, so obviously Geralt is your favourite character in the game. So, is there like any other favourite characters that you have?
Ciri's cool. She's pretty cool, especially with her abilities. I gotta love Vesemir though. I'll say no, Lambert. What a... If anyone knows that reference, the one in the robot, I can't say it now, obviously, for if you know, you know, because my brother's here. But there's a remark he makes in that on the robot where he asks Geralt to, you know, if you're a poet, and he says, Lambert, what a... And you know what that is. But Lambert's funny. Eskel I actually like, because we don't see Eskel too much, but I actually like that scene where he fights against one of the members of the Wild Hunt, Canthria, or I can't remember his name, it has been a while, but I did like that fight scene. There's a load of characters I like in there, you know. Trish, she's cool. You know, like there's a lot. You have to remember, in Witcher, okay, it's an open world game, and the decisions and the characters that you meet along the way, there's just so many characters. I can't like put them down to like a top 5 or a top 10. That's just like something else altogether. But you know, there are several characters I do like.
And are there like, what kind of enemies and villains are there in the...
Well, I said there's like monsters and humans, but if you want me to be a bit more specific, in humans it's just like mercenaries and bandits and different factions of armies. That like from the south you've got you've got like Radovid's lot, who I didn't like. Then you had witch hunters and stuff working for him, the Redanian army. And then you had like down the south you had I can't remember what they're called, but they had like black suits of armor and they were working for the emperor and they were trying to invade the north and stuff like that. In terms of monsters, there's a lot. Monsters, giants, ghosts, ghouls, you've got loads of different, even like vampires, and then you've got people with different curses on them that can affect them in different ways. Yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff in the game.
Okay then. I guess to round out, what like locations do you visit in the game then?
Skellig Isles, that is a good one. I love visiting the Skellig Isles, and the like the ambience and the atmosphere of it all is brilliant. The music's fantastic. You know, like you go to Novigrad, that's a cool city. you know, you got the, like the Southlands in the marsh with the crones and stuff. That's all like, you know, kind of messed up, like villages and stuff. I guess some of them are cool. But I like Kaer Morhen as well, which is like the witch's school for House of the School of the Wolf, which is where Geralt was trained at.
And actually, I've made the assumption that this is like some kind of fighting game, but just before we go, I just want to make sure that's actually a fighting game, or is it, I don't know, like
yeah, it's a fighting game. It's an open world, like adventure game where you're playing as Geralt. You know, it's sword fighting. You have 2 swords. You can even use. He's also an alchemist. So you can drink potions and stuff like that. It makes him resistant to certain poisons or diseases or curses. And also enhances his attack. But there's so many potions. You can oil your weapons and stuff. And he's also has magic. But in terms of magic, it's not like loads of spells, like 5 different ones, which has like protection shield, a fire blast, or force push and stuff like that. And they're called signs.
Huh, okay then. I don't really think there's much else to add. Does this game take place on Earth or something? I assume so.
No, it's like it's its own universe, let's say.
Okay. I honestly don't know what else to add.
Okay,
honestly.
but if I were to rate it, I would definitely say, you know, it has to be in a 10 because it's in my top 5, and I love the game. The game was flaws. I loved it. And I have played it several times before. When the DLCs came out, I played the DLCs as well, which was Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine. I loved Blood and Wine. That was a really great one. Fantastic.
Okay then. I don't think I have anything else to ask now, do you?
No.
Okay then, so that's where we're going to leave it for today. So, this has been Owen and my brother
Dewey.
on the channel, and we will catch you all in the next video. Ta-da!
Bye-bye.